Hi, I'm back. I'll be reading from the NIV The Adventure Bible. I will be reading Matthew chapter 1. Matthew. Who wrote this book? Matthew. One of Jesus' 12 disciples wrote this book. Why was this book written? Matthew shows the Jews that Jesus is the Messiah promised in the Old Testament. For whom was this book written? For whom was this book written? Matthew was written for the Jewish people. What happens in this book? This book tells about Jesus' birth, his life as an adult, his teaching, death, and resurrection. Who is important in this book? Jesus is the important person in this book. When did this happen? These events took place between 6 BC and AD 30. Where did this happen? Most events took place in towns in Galilee. What are some other stories in this book? Wise men visit Jesus, Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to verse 23. How to be blessed, Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 to verse 12. The Lord's Prayer, Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 to verse 13. Jesus feeds 5,000 people, Matthew chapter 14, verse 13 to verse 21. Jesus walks on water. Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 to verse 33. Lost sheep. Matthew chapter 18, verse 10 to verse 14. Jesus enters Jerusalem. Matthew chapter 21, verse 1 to verse 11. Jesus is crucified. Matthew chapter 27, verse 32 to verse 56. Jesus returns to life. Matthew chapter 28, verse 1 to verse 10. Jesus' Great Commission. Matthew chapter 28, verse 16 to verse 20. Okay, now I'm going to be reading Matthew chapter 1.
Together, she was found to be with child through the Holy Spirit. Matthew chapter 1. A record of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar, Perez the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Solomon, Solomon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab, Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth, Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of King David. David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife, Solomon the father of Rehoboam, Rehoboam the father of Abijah, Abijah the father of Asa, Asa the father of Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat the father of Jehoram, Jehoram the father of Uzziah, Uzziah the father of Jotham, Jotham the father of Ahaz, Ahaz the father of Hezekiah, Hezekiah the father of Manasseh, Manasseh the father of Ammon, Ammon the father of Josiah, and Josiah the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babylon. After the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel, Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel the father of Abiud, Abiud the father of Eliakim, Eliakim the father of Azor, Azor the father of Zadok, Zadok the father of Achim, Achim the father of Eliud, Eliud the father of Eleazar, Eleazar the father of Mathan, Mathan the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Thus there were 14 generations in all, from Abraham to David, 14 from David to the exile to Babylon, and 14 from the exile to the Christ. This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be with child through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was a righteous man and did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said,
Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins.
All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will be with child and will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him, and took Mary home as his wife. But he had no union with her until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus.
Okay. Did did you know? Why is this genealogy in Matthew chapter 1 verse 17? A genealogy is a record of a person's ancestors. Matthew wanted us to know that Jesus was a true human being as well as the Son of God. Matthew also wanted the Jews to know that Jesus was a descendant of Abraham, the father of the other Jewish nation, and of David. Only a descendant of David could be king of the Jews. Okay, that's all for Matthew chapter 1.